Because you don't have the energy for everything. You only have the energy for one thing. Then A, action plan. After you have put in your checklist, get your action plan. Oh, 15 people are going to join with us. X will do this. B will do this. Go specific to the work you want them to do. Don't just say, well, you do this. Go specific. I was in a place to preach some time ago. Very popular, very big church. Senator, there are big people in that church. I finished preaching the first day, sweating profusely. There was no water. So after I finished preaching, it was a 4-day program, and I asked somebody to give me water. So the second day when I was preaching, I now said, I had finished preaching, sweating. There was no water. Somebody was to bring the water. They were confused. Who was to bring the water? Who was not to bring the water? These were senators. These were intelligent people. Some of them have been directors, a big position in this country. But nobody knew that a simple thing like water for a speaker is important. No action plan. When there is no specific, then there is disaster. Then N, networking. When you have done your action plan, then network. Who is the person that I must link up with to do this? Who is the person that I must connect with to make this happen? Who is the person that must join with me to get the action done? That is how you plan. These are planning. And I want to tell you that the moment you exclude someone, you have touched the person's pride. And so when you are networking, try to make it an all-inclusive affair. No matter how microscopic the person's work is, give him that job. I can tell you, me telling somebody to stand, please stand here. I remember when I was in school, in my primary school, I was a captain, I was a monitor, I used to call monitor. And one of my biggest functions was to ring the bell. But now, the idea of ringing the bell kept pride. Because the moment you just say, back down the whole school, including the principal, everybody is ready. So, sometimes I'll carry the bell and say, I'm going to ring it now. But normally, there was nothing in ringing the bell. But because they have put me to ring the bell, it makes a lot of difference. There are jobs in the household of God. Sometimes a preacher may be about to come and preach to you, or somebody comes to you, and you notice that his shoes are not polished. I say, look, take care of this thing. Excuse me, sir, I just noticed there's a stain. Somebody was speaking to us yesterday. I said that if there's a stain in a person's shirt, that shows you responsibility. If there's food stain, you see the man is moving from one meeting to the other, just eating a bar here. And as you enter the boardroom, you see a whole big, you see melon on it. There's only his coat to cover himself. Then S, set deadlines. Set deadlines. No, this must be done this. This must be done this. This must be done at this time. You see, all these things is simply put planning. There's a planning committee. And I'm saying it because this is about church growth. This is about church leadership. The leader comes to people and says, let's plan. Let's plan. I'm a leader of the men's group. I'm a leader of the women's group. I'm a leader of the children's group. Let's plan. You see, plan is so much related to preparation. But they are not all that together. And in preparation, I put SIR as an acronym. SIR. The first is spiritual preparation. Just lay the ground rule. Pray hard. Meditate hard. Seek the Lord's face. Ask God what He wants. You are preparing. Prepare yourself spiritually. Prepare yourself spiritually. Then I is preparation of the intellectual level, your mind. And I keep saying your mind. Somebody wrote a book several years ago, Your Mind Matters. I don't know how many Christians have read that book. Because Christians move from the law to liberty, neglecting the mind. The law was very orthodox. Liberty was very physical. And so the mind was left in between. Then arrow has to do with rehearse. Go through the process again and again. You see, I want to tell you that I have one preacher who is my ideal. I mean, there are only 3 preachers whom I consider my ideal in this world. I told you before. One of them was Billy Graham. One of them was Martin Luther King Jr. And the third one was Spurgeon. Charles G.S. Spurgeon is considered the greatest preacher the world has ever known. He's dead now. And I visit the church sometimes in the UK. And I was surprised when I was reading Charles G.S. Spurgeon's book. There are 2 things I saw about the man's preaching. He said he rehearses his preaching. You see, after he has written his preaching, he will now say, you get saved. You get to know the Lord. You old man, that you know Jesus. You see, sometimes we shout at that person, Christ is coming soon. And that he will be rehearsing. I know if you see Sister James for this is the flesh. You must be praying. Winston Churchill was doing rehearsal. He had a secretary. At one point, he had a female secretary. But while he's in the bedroom, he would tell the female secretary to stand on the other side, not in the same bedroom with him, stay on the other side. And then he will be making speeches. And Britain must go this. And the woman will be writing. The female will be writing. The man was training his voice. Demosthenes, I don't know, some of you were teaching me Latin and Greek, which you did not study in school yourself. So, Greeks have 2 great people, Cicero and Demosthenes, also as called. They say when Cicero will speak, the world will say, what a great orator. But when Demosthenes will speak, they say even the walls of Greek will shake. I want to move. How did Demosthenes become a great orator? They said the very first time he wanted to speak, he fainted. And then from then on, he started rehearsing. He went to the sea. Sometimes they will put rocks on his mouth and roar in the sea to see if his voice can overtake the roaring of the sea. If I tell you that Jesus is coming soon and I demonstrate it, or there is fire, before you know, you know. Jesus says there's fire. Those who are going to win the Olympics today, they are not going to win it because of the anointing. It is because they have what? Rehearsed. Usman Bolt has been hiding for a long time, practicing. Get himself in a pitch, practicing. This is the secret of great men. They rehearse. But why don't you think you rehearse in what you are called to do? You told the choir to sing, and the very day they finish practicing, that's when they sing. You will rehearse many times. I was telling a drama group one time, I said, it is not the night you practice a drama, then the next morning you act that drama. It doesn't make sense. The drama you will act this Sunday morning, you have rehearsed it over 20 times. I think I was discussing with somebody some time ago, and he said that for the things he has done in this life, he has rehearsed over about 200 times. I don't know if it's the outliner or one of the books that I written by the same man who wrote the outliner. And we're looking at successful people. They found out they spend over 100 or 10,000 hours. Yes, on their work. I tell my medical students when they come for exam, I say, look, how you pass clinical exam. Unfortunately, the exam has changed to different system. It's not reading, it's rehearsal. I said it is like a showbiz. Keep practicing it normally. So when you come to the exam hall, you just do it naturally. I was in the exam with one of the medical students some years ago, and the man was taking a history of somebody who has tuberculosis. The boy demonstrated it. Sir, his cough was like that. He coughed this way. He came from him. After he finished, the consultant who examined said, this man is brilliant. Now they gave him full marks. Do you know what? That man doesn't have tuberculosis. It was when we are finished. The external examiner was there. So one of the residents come and says, sir, hi, this boy is terrible. You see, this boy has bamboozled the examiner with his demonstration. You see, rehearse. Anything you are called, rehearse. You are a singer, don't be strong. God has inspired me with a song. Tomorrow I say, Pastor, I want to sing on Thursday. There are some songs that are to be sung with yourself alone first. Then you and your very good friend, your best friend. Then later you and your family. Then later your activity group. Then you might now grow up to a Thursday meeting. Then on a Sunday meeting. So that by the time you come out, you rehearse your presentation, you rehearse your even prayer can be rehearsed. It is one of some of the greatest prayers that have been made in public places. Men have rehearsed it. The greatest speech the world has ever known was the speech given by Abraham Lincoln in Gettysburg. Short speech. But the man rehearsed that speech several times. But Abraham Lincoln was not the main orator. It was a burial of those who were killed during the American War. There was a professor, a linguist, a learner who had been taught. The man blew grammar 2 hours. Then Abraham Lincoln came and said, with malice to none. Few sentences. The word, if I tell you the name of the man, you wouldn't know. But no one would ever forget the speech of Abraham Lincoln. The secret is he went about rehearsing it. I will quickly move fast. Pay the price. Let me say you can never have an excellent service if you don't pay the price. The height at which great men reached and achieved was not achieved by sudden plight. They, while their companions were sleeping, they were doing what? They were toiling in the night. I told you one day I went to the sports station at 2 a.m. in the night. You know, I used to go regularly, but I stopped because people, after I leave, people were asking me to pray for them. So that 2 a.m., I was praying, and lo, the place was windy, it was cold, rain was about to fall, and I saw 2 students lying on the floor, groaning in prayer. And Lord said, this is what the stuff by which greatness is made. You see, that is the stuff. Because great people, they do an extra effort. They pay the price. Everything is price. People say, oh, the church is this. The church. People get millions. I have a friend of mine who is not in this church, who used to give to this church. So the time, we are not even built to this church. Then we're just on your, when he entered the church, he said, all my giving to your church is like a drop of water in a mighty ocean. That's how he expressed it. It's like a drop of water. Every pastor, what he sought, knows what it is to pay the price. Sometimes when my wife sees the way I work in the night and day, say, that this work of a pastor is not something easy. That when people see people outside, they don't know what goes inside.